Speakers to come.
How can we manage this?
ना ना एसजी में तो
इसको बंद तो कर लो लाइव।
चेक कर लेना आप, ठीक है। एक चेयर कर दिया लाइव, एक बार स्पीकर पे है अभी भी चेंज नहीं हो रहा।
कौन सा चेयर? वो दे दो ना, वो पीछे।
ठीक है, चेक करो।
यहाँ से हो जाएगा।
आ गया तो ये स्पीकर की चलेगी और पीपीटी नहीं चल पाएगी क्योंकि इन पे कनेक्टर नहीं है, क्योंकि एक टाइम पे कोई बात नहीं ना। हाँ हाँ हाँ, वो मैं कैमरामैन को बोल दें कि जिसको होगा उसको एडजस्ट कर देना उनके ऊपर, ठीक है। ठीक है, डन 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 डन। आपको क्या पूछना था? अच्छा सॉरी, ठीक है।
आपको एक फोटो तो ग्रुप की फ्रेम में मिलेगी ताकि आपको भी देने में सेशन
Good afternoon, everyone.
पूछना पड़ेगा मेरे को।
We will be starting the session in a minute. May I please request everybody to settle?
वो सबको इंडिविजुअली मिल रहा है।
On behalf of NATE, it is my honor to welcome you all to the NATE AI Summit 2026, titled India's AI Infrastructure from Vision to Reality. I am Faria Salman and I will be your host for this session. Today we bring together distinguished industry leaders, representatives, technology experts, and partners who are collectively shaping India's AI ecosystem. Because building AI is not only about algorithms or hardware, it is about collaboration, policy trust, and long-term vision. On this note, I would now like to introduce our moderator, Mr. Harish Krishnan, Chair Working Group on AI, NATE, and all our panelists, Mr. Ranganath Sadasiva, Chief Technology Officer, HPE, Mr. Kishore Balaji, Executive Director and Government Regulatory Affairs, IBM, Ms. Vibha Mehra, Vice President, Government Affairs, Nokia. Mr. Sumit Monga, Head, Government Relations, Lenovo. Ms. Dipakshi Mahendru, Director, India Government Affairs, Intel. Mr. Tarandeep Bagga, Leader, Sales Cloud and AI Team, Cisco. To formally open the summit, may I please request President Amit Jeevan to please give the welcome remarks.
ये ना इंडिया एएस
हाँ चेक लाइव की लिंक भी मैंने सर को भेज दी थी धनराज सर
पहले ही लेट मिला ना
Good afternoon, distinguished guests and industry leaders. On behalf of MATE, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the MATE AI Summit 2026 here at Bharat Mandapam. Thank you for joining us for the important conversation on India's AI infrastructure from vision to reality. In November 2025, MATE organized a pre-summit under the theme Forging India AI Infrastructure Ecosystem, Driving Impact for People, Planet and Progress. That engagement brought together stakeholders across government, industry and academia to align on a shared vision for India's AI future. Today makes the culmination of the journey where we move decisively from dialogue to action and from vision to implementation. Artificial intelligence is no longer a future aspiration. It is already reshaping governance, healthcare, education, manufacturing, and climate action. AI can only perform well if it has powerful chips, fast internet, reliable servers, and secure hardware to back it up. For India to realize its AI's ambitions at scale, we must build resilient, inclusive, and globally competitive AI infrastructure. Anchored in domestic manufacturing, enabled by supportive policy frameworks, and powered by strong public-private collaboration. We are privileged to have with us today an eminent group of industry leaders who will share their perspectives on India's AI infrastructure from vision to reality. I am delighted to welcome our moderator, Sri Harish Krishnan, Chair Working Group at AI MATE, who will guide us this section. We are honored to have with us Mr. Raghunathan Sadashiva, CTO HPE, Mr. Kishore Balaji, Executive Director IBM, Ms. Vibha Mehra, VP Government Affairs Nokia, Ms. Dipakshi Mahendru, Director Intel Corporation, Mr. Sumit Monga, Head Government Relations Lenovo Group, Mr. Tarandeep Bagga, Leader Sales Cloud and AI Team Cisco. Together they bring deep expertise across computing, platform, hardware, policy engagement and enterprise development, offering a comprehensive perspective on how India can build scalable and trusted AI infrastructure. I am confident that today's deliberation will offer valuable insights into challenges, opportunities and the roadmap ahead, spanning policy enabler, manufacturing ecosystems, deployment models, and real-world impact. The rapid advancement and deployment of AI hardware presents both critical challenges and transformative opportunities that must be strategically addressed. I understand that this technology consumes much power, and it's challenging to build and run these systems along with the goal of environmental safeguards protection. To counter this challenge, we need to promote energy-efficient solutions like liquid cooling for the chips. Equally important is fostering strength and collaboration across the innovation ecosystem, bringing together hardware manufacturers, educational institutions, startups, and government bodies to co-develop cutting-edge technologies and build indigenous capabilities. This collaborative momentum can also elevate the visibility of India's hardware competencies to global AI conversations, positioning the country as a key contributor. Finally, creating a structured engagement pathways for SMEs, innovators, and academia will enable broader participation in building India's AI infrastructure, democratizing innovations and ensuring that the benefit of AI hardware advancements are widely distributed across the industrial and research landscape. Let me conclude by reiterating MATE's commitment to working closely with government and industry to build a robust, inclusive, and globally competitive AI infrastructure ecosystem, ensuring that India not only adopts AI but leads responsibly in the development and deployment. Before we move ahead to our discussion, MATE is pleased to release today our white paper on forging India's AI infrastructure ecosystem, which outlines actionable recommendations to strengthen India's position in trusted AI value chain and accelerate development deployment across sector. Thank you once again for joining us today. I look forward to a thoughtful and engaging discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words and for setting the context of today's discussion. May I request all the speakers and Colonel Vivek Levy to join in for a group photograph
उससे
as
एसडी कोड ले
requested
लियो
by
और प्रिंट आउट लेके मेरे को दे दियो या फिर कर लियो ठीक है मेरे को बता दियो ठीक है ओके अभी ले लियो उससे प्लेट बताइए और
We also invite Mr. Niju Vijay and partner Eventium Advisors to join us in the unveiling of the white paper.
तेरा कमिटमेंट इज कमिटमेंट what is that
The soft copy of this white paper will be shared by all the registered participants via email.
which hardware सेमीकंडक्टर ये तो यूएसए स्टार्ट हो गई ना सेमीकंडक्टर्स का बहुत प्रॉफिट है ह्यूज मार्केट है ना वो क्योंकि अभी तो स्टार्ट हो गई इंडिया में और इंडिया में अगर बनने लगे सेमीकंडक्टर पे तो जो सामान चीप हो जाएगा तो मिल जाएगा तो डू यू अप्लाई दिस
Thank you, everyone. We now move to the core segment of today's program, the panel discussion on India's AI infrastructure from vision to reality. This session will explore how India can scale its AI infrastructure, enable innovation, strengthen public-private partnerships, and translate vision into execution. It is my pleasure to hand over the session to our moderator, Mr. Harish Krishnan, in order to take the discussion forward. Over to you, sir.
to invest
Mike.
Thank you very much and good morning to all of you. It is great to be at the AI Summit. We've all been in sessions as a pre-summit events across India. And again, what the government is doing is amazing to bring AI at a population scale. We've never had a session like this where there is not even standing room available. The government has done a great job of taking AI to the population. You know, we have got, for example, the Andhra Pradesh government which says they want every family to have one entrepreneur and one AI use case. That's the level at which the government and the political class are thinking about it. So welcome again. As Amrit mentioned, MATE had done a pre-event for AI Summit on 20th November 2025, and we had leaders from across the industry participate in it. Mr. Krishnan was our chief guest for the event, and talking at the event, Mr. Krishnan articulated some of the clear priorities of the government in supporting, especially when he's talking to MATE, supporting manufacturing of servers as the backbone of AI infrastructure, making full use of the PLI for IT hardware 2.0, and addressing the gap where India generates nearly 20% of global data but has only about 4% of the data center capacity. He encouraged MATE industry to turn these priorities into concrete, actionable steps. We just seen the release of the MATE's white paper, which brings these teams together and sets directions for today's discussion. One thing that the white paper makes very clear is that India has moved beyond experimentation. AI is no longer just about pilots or demos. Enterprises are now moving toward use cases with measurable ROI, asking practical questions about how to scale AI, making it reliable, secure, ensure it delivers real business value. As AI adoption accelerates, India has an opportunity to scale its infrastructure. This means energy efficient compute with security resilience built to the start. It also calls for moving beyond experiments to real outcomes, expanding access for MSMEs, and scaling AI use case across sectors that matter most to India. And finally, it reminds us that AI is not just about technology, it's about people, it's readiness about skills, reskilling, and expanding opportunities across the nation. uh, Now explore how we turn this vision into reality. Like Amrit mentioned, we've got a distinguished panel here, and I'm now going to turn it over to the panel to take the discussion forward. I want to first ask someone, how much time do we have for this? So, Sudhanshu, I'm going to come to you first. Um, so you are in the whole infrastructure business. So how do you see India balance the need for AI infrastructure at the same time make it affordable and accessible for all?
Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, I would say. Nice to see a large crowd here, but we are at the facet, as you rightly said, from moving away from experimentation into acceleration. And that's a huge step for all of us here, because most of us have done that wee bit of experimentation in our organizations, right? And most of it, as I see, has been very siloed. It really didn't have an integrated view of AI as a strategy. So we, I think, understand that at this point of time. And when you're talking of acceleration, it is your ability to cohesively put a strategy together. And that strategy means a lot of things. Many of the times when you see AI, our first point of vision is a GPU. Whereas it's like a brick and mortar stuff for building a house. You will not be talking about whether you want to use ACC cement or an LNT cement or TNT rods or things like that, right? So the building blocks, you essentially would want to look at a strategy that will speak about how many rooms you want, what is the dining facility you want, and stuff like that. So core values of an AI strategy are being brought into focus today. And from a time frame perspective, the last 6 to 12 months have been very critical, where people have understood what AI really means. I think they've peeled the onion in terms of understanding what AI constitutes. It's just not a GPU, it's just not models, it's not people alone. They understand the entire stack and how it should be understood. That leads to some very critical moves people have taken to. All of us would definitely agree that data is the fulcrum for any kind of an AI strategy. People are now focusing around how they can get their AI in place, and with the right data strategy. Many a times you just did that siloed approach, which essentially meant you just used data from one persona or one entity, not really looked at data being the fulcrum of everything. And I think beyond that, they also understand that AI is hybrid by nature, in the sense that there are diverse resources which are determined by the use cases per se. So it's not that one size fits all. So, and the leverage of that diversity is something that people are thinking about. And most of it also goes back to the core essence of where IT was built in. The foundations rely on connectivity. The foundations rely on what kind of compute facility you have. The foundation rely on what kind of cloud economics or the models that you bring into focus. So in all of this, I see people thinking about it. I think platform is where I'm looking at organizations thinking of a platform that can cater to various use cases. Like you said, every Andhra citizen wanted a use case. I'm sure it's true for everyone in across the country. Everyone has a use case for themselves. But they have to work on a foundation that's built on data. And that's where people are looking at using data to a great extent. And also believing in the fact that private AI implementations are coming into the picture as well. People are believing data is their core, that's their strength. How do I build on top of it and get leverage? And that's where I think it's all headed towards at this point of time. If one does all of that, I think affordability will step in. It will also bring in a sense of, propagating the AI story across the board.
Thank you, Suresh. You're actually absolutely right. And affordability is at the core. And I think the London Neelanthi said that Indians will become data rich before they become rich. And it is amazing how the government of India has rightly focused on building the infrastructure in a way of creating a national infrastructure like the AI mission and making it affordable for people to use AI. I'll come to you, Kishore, next.
एटलीस्ट इसके नीचे
When
आ जाएगा
we
तो ये
talk
कम से
about
प्रीव्यू तो आएगा, तो आ गया देखो,
AI and
क्योंकि वो सामने
innovation,
कर देना,
there's
दिक्कत हो
always
जाएगी,
thought
वो
about
ब्लॉक हो जाएगा।
regulation. You know, they say that a car that has
अब
got
सही आ रहा है।
a good brake can actually speed more because you know it can brake. So, what are your thoughts on framework for AI, and how do you see this evolving in India?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me here. And honestly, AI has got people worried or excited. The fact that there are so many now is testament that either of it is playing on everybody's mind. Uh, of course, all of you would have, read about the immense economic opportunity that AI creates for ourselves. I, for one, believe that the next 3 years we'll see AI disrupt markets, jobs, all of it, which will be larger than the impact that the internet had for about 2 decades, right? So that's going to be the quantum of change and issue sets and opportunity that AI can accrue to us. Now, that said, the fact that AI really levels up India's ability to orbit shift in terms of opportunity and economic dividend is not lost on anybody. I'd like to therefore congratulate the government of India to have taken a really balanced approach to regulating AI. About 2 years back, there were debates about should we stop AI, should we let AI go, so on and so forth. I think hard-hammered approaches haven't worked, and any such opportunity which have been really playing out as large economic opportunities. Therefore, the government's gone for what we otherwise in industry call as precision regulation. Not all cases need to be regulated the same way. The way that you would regulate a geospatial AI model for agriculture will be very different from the way that you do it for, let's say, a cancer detection, right? Because you need different kind of data and so on and so forth. Therefore, I for one believe precision regulation, not only in AI adoption but also in AI governance, is the way to go. There is a clear need for mandating transparency, accountability, auditability, and explainability of AI. It can be achieved by several aspects like model documentation, impact assessment, so on and so forth. And it's important to do that because once you set these guardrails well, like you said, Harish, once you have the breaks in order, the confidence with which in specific segments, if I may, people can move in faster are immense. Therefore, there's a need to do that. Thirdly, on behalf of IBM and even otherwise, I've seen open source as a great way to look at how aspects can scale. Not everybody needs to go and build a model. Right? People can come, pick a model, fork it out, focus on deployment, and get to the path of profit than having to make the vertical stack themselves. Therefore, open source is good. And it also helps governance because you have more people involved, more the eyes looking at the model, more the eyes looking at the usage, better the chances of removing bias and all of those issues that come with that. So important to look at open source as a key ingredient to scaling it. And also, there are several global frameworks and standards like in the EU and NIST and so on and so forth. India certainly needs one for its own, but ensuring that we are aligned with some of these global frameworks will help us not only make in India for India, but make in India for the world. And lastly, the uh, biggest truth of the moment is we don't know what we don't know, right? Therefore, it's very, very important, like never before, for everybody to come together, the industry, the academia. We always speak about PPP. I mean, Harish and I have had a living in government affairs for like 3 decades, and every time we've been speaking about PPP, but never has it been more important than it is today for stakeholders to come together to look at governance, to look at such frameworks, to look at ethical standards, to look at what are those use cases that can scale faster than the others, regulation and so on and so forth. Therefore, this is a very, very welcome step to the point that I'm making. We'll encourage people to keep the discussion on. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Kishore. I think AI framework, I think, released yesterday. I saw in the paper. I've not had a chance to look at the document, but I believe it talks about a light touch and also leveraging the existing regulations which are already there, not really recreating new regulations, right? We say just go when you connect the unconnected, magic happens. And we got Nokia, whose byline is connecting the intelligence. So when what is core for AI is connectivity and the role of 5G and 6G and Nokia, the pioneer in this. So I'd like to have your views on what are the trends you see in 5G, 6G evolution to cope up with AI and the connectivity needs.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. And I must say, really happy to see so many people in the room. That shows the excitement of AI in this world. Okay. Now, specific to your question, Harish, we feel connectivity has been the backbone of how AI has kind of traveled all across, and it's going to stay like that. And the numbers are baffling. The way and India has done very well compared to the rest of the world. The data used to be 1 GB data used to be at about 287 bucks 2014. We are at about 9 rupees. I think our honorable minister just spoke about it. It's $0.11. The global average is about $2.5. Okay, that makes sure that there's a connectivity available at the every nook and corner of the country to make sure that people can do whatever they want, and AI is touching everybody's life. Now, what happened with 5G and what's going to be happening with 6G is another story. By the way, we changed our logo. We used to be, connecting everybody, connecting people. Now we kind of pivoted towards talking about ourselves as connecting intelligence, because we realized that intelligence is going to stay at multiple levels. Some of my colleagues talked about there's intelligence at data level, there's an intelligence at platform level, there's an intelligence at hardware level, and there's an intelligence at network level. Okay, 5G made that happen, where AI was really not native to what was happening. So AI was still sitting as a secondary layer, bringing that intelligence there. But we still made things happen with highest throughput, low latencies. These two things itself drove some of the use cases, which is very pertinent to India also. And we saw this application going all across industrial automations. I think it's still touched just the very high level. It's still not gone to SMEs, SMBs, but Industry 4.0 would not happen if the robust data connectivity was not available. And this whole digital twinning, the machine learnings, it happened because that low latency connectivity was available for these applications to work. Now we should be looking at these moving across to e-health, agriculture, where you would need to have data coming in from multiple data sources. Somebody has to make that happen. That's a secondary issue. Intelligent, traffics. The cases are umpteen. Okay? So much more can happen with what connectivity has enabled. Now, as we move to 6G, 6G is still a little far away, and our operators don't want to hear about 6G coming in too soon. We're sitting at about 2030 as starting of 6G adoption. Some of the countries, North Korea, Japan, let's say, is happening maybe before that also. But we expect 2030 onward, 6G should happen all pervasively. What's changing in the architecture of 6G is that AI is going to be sitting natively at the network layer. We will see the networks becoming more intelligent, more intuitive. They will manage on its own, they will monitor on its own. And whatever will happen on top of that, by any application, will be an added advantage. So things are going to be different. We will see more use cases, emerging. As they say, what we don't know, we don't know. This world is going to be a very different world. That's all we can say.
Thanks, Viva. Absolutely. Connectivity is at the core of all the AI applications that we have. Like if you take healthcare, and you don't want a heart surgery happening and the data buffering at the time, right? So you need coming to you, Sumit, infrastructure, coming back to infrastructure is absolutely, again, very critical. Right now, we're in the middle of a memory crisis at this point in time. A lot of memory going to the compute area, and you learn that from the area. So, how are you seeing the whole Make in India progressing in India, the whole push towards manufacturing in India?
Infrastructure, of course, is the bedrock foundational aspects what Sadanand also said. You see, it is the experiential requirement that is there. If there are delays in expressing your thoughts, one loses interest. Similar is the case with the infrastructure that would be required for AI. If AI cannot respond to you faster, of course, there's going to be a challenge. People are not going to like it. So infrastructure requirement is the basis for India. When we say 20% of data being generated, but only 4% of data centers being available, we can well imagine what is the kind of latency, what Vibha also spoke about, the physical distances that needs to be traveled across the world for this data and the compute part to come back to us. So from that angle, we need more manufacturing to come up here in India, not only in terms of the IT infrastructure, but even in terms of enabling that manufacturing through AI means. So from the governmental push, if we look at it, the government has already provided a lot of facilities in terms of the production-linked incentive schemes, in terms of the India semiconductor mission. Now 2.0 has been announced in the recent budget. Data center push has been given. To support all this, it is how the infrastructure manufacturing will start happening and making use of, let's say, all the FTAs that are being done. The import of components, sub-assemblies, exports, electronics component manufacturing scheme. So all these things will start helping in proliferating manufacturing here in India. And on top of it, one of the biggest criteria which will help India is the trust factor that India has amongst the global community. The trust factor for enabling the manufacturing of niche technology systems here in India, which at certain times we are not very comfortable with when people want to give licenses and other things. So from that angle, India is well suited to actually start manufacturing and is the right geography where the manufacturing for supporting AI will happen.
Like Kishore said, we've been watching this space for a very, very long time in terms of manufacturing, and the amount of uptake that has happened in the last few years has been phenomenal, right? And I think one of the good things the government is doing is to not only look at what is needed in the short term, but also in the long term. And they're talking about Viksit Bharat 2047. Chips are not made in a day, so that brings me to Intel. Semiconductors is at the foundation of the infrastructure, and the government has a lot of focus on semiconductors. I'm sure Intel is inside the semiconductor mission, so would like to have your perspective on what is happening on semiconductor.
Thank you, Harish. So on the semiconductors piece and the way I look at it, right, up until some time ago, we always, and we continue to speak about the number of processors doubling every 2 years, right? Increasingly, a new metric is also coming in, and that is the number of man hours AI can displace in just about 1 minute. And even that number is now doubling actually every 6 months. So when we talk about, and again, like Harish, you mentioned, processors by the end of it and form factor innovation at the processor level have a lot of implications. The first one really being about increased computational capacity per real estate that you're using on the motherboard, right? So we've already 10 nanometers, 14 nanometers, 26 nanometers that are now all legacy nodes. We're increasingly talking about 1.8, 1.4, sub 2, sub 4 nanometers, right? Now, with that computational ability really comes the entire metric of how intelligent your machine is. However, the flip side also is, when we talk about AI chips, AI data centers, AI systems, there is a certain energy imprint that it has, and AI is perhaps very notorious about that energy imprint, and therefore, the second level of innovation really empowering all this is how sustainable, or at least I would say sustainability is still some time away, but how energy efficient can every subsequent form factor become. And today, if I talk about, let's say, Intel, and sure the other semiconductor companies as well, every next generation of processors that is coming in is able to give you a delta of anything between a 12 to 20% reduction on energy consumption while giving you a higher computational power, which I think is very, very important. Which brings me to the third point, and I'm just being mindful of the time also, and therefore, the third, from an innovation perspective, and I'll build on to what Sadanand mentioned, is we are opening up the horizons to what is possible in the AI world. It is a myth to say that to run anything on AI or run anything AI, you need a GPU only. It's a beautiful technology, it's a very powerful technology. But at the same point in time, there are models that you can run on GPUs, CPUs, NPUs, TPUs, and the PUs and the XPUs is broadly how I would put it. They are just going to multiply because it's not just about how you can bring your AI model to life, it's also about where you are hosting it. No longer is AI just going to be dependent on cloud and data centers. You're getting data centers, smaller, meaner AI data centers close to where the data resides, which will have an important aspect of energy efficiency, cost efficiency, lower latency. But at the same point in time, AI at the edge is what is again taking the world by the storm. Now, increasingly, when we talk about individual productivity, individual contribution to economy, individual contribution even to the means of livelihood, you also have AI PCs, which are perhaps closing the loop on MSMEs. It's a boom, right? And from there, primarily when we talk about semiconductors, I would say it's just that we have to take a much larger view of AI, and that is where innovation really sits. To close it in optimization of different technologies and optimization of how you access it, and more importantly, what you use that access to build it for. I'll stop there.
Okay, thanks, Pakshi. So I'm looking at the time, so there's not going to be time for a second round. So I'm giving a heads up to all the speakers that after Tarandeep, I'm going to ask the next question Tarandeep, and after that, I'm going to ask each one of you to, in 1 minute or 30 seconds, say what excites you about AI and what concerns you. Okay, it's a bit of an out of service question. So Tarandeep, now coming to you, cloud native AI solutions are expanding rapidly. How can India ensure secure, interoperable, and scalable cloud infrastructure for AI?
I think India is at the digital evolution cusp, where they have onboarded how we have to go ahead and consume AI. Now, if I think about what should be the strategy, it is not a single strategy. It has to be a multi-layered strategy, starting from sovereign AI. It has been a great debate for the last 2 years. Do we take the data to the model or get model to the data? We've been doing a lot of export data and import intelligence. I think thanks to India mission, that problem has started to evolve and solve, where we have a pool of GPUs or accelerators to go ahead and solve this problem of getting the data local and intelligence also local. So that would be the first critical step, that how do we evolve onto sovereign AI concept. And thanks to open source models that are available and the output that we get out of it, this vision has become true reality. Second key concept is securing AI. Second strategy should be privacy by design. You cannot have security as an afterthought, be it any application or even our mobile phones. I don't think I want to use something which is not secure, right? Likewise, when we start consuming AI, even for the matter of fact, designing AI or building applications or use cases for AI, we need to have privacy by design. That's got to be pivotal to ensure and give 100% confidence to each one of you that whatever you're consuming out of AI is 100% secure. We will tackle deepfakes, we will tackle unknown elements. We've read about AI started blackmailing each other and stuff like that. Right? A lot of things are there. So it's important to not to have security as an afterthought, rather infuse it at every layer possible. So that will be first strategy in terms of secure and sovereign AI. Second key strategy is interoperability. As my friend spoke, that there needs to be a strategy where each model has to talk to different other data source. That's one of the key things for every use case to be successful. With India AI push as part of India AI mission, a lot of data models and structures have been defined, but we feel that future is evolving an ecosystem where each data set can talk to other data sets so that we can kind of securely use it and build data for the models so that the end use case is interoperable and we can all make 100% benefit out of it. Third key strategy is around scalability. Now, this is an important aspect. Today, I just spoke about India AI mission that has done about 38K GPUs and other set of accelerators. Is this enough at a global footprint? We personally feel not really. There's a lot more that we can add, and it is predicted that this capacity will grow 10x in next 5 years. But going by the use of AI and adoption, we could already see 10x in the next couple of years. To do this, it is extremely important to decentralize the hubs. What today the mission gets or the access gets is central AI hubs. As we grow and build use cases across rural, healthcare, we spoke about surgeries. To make all of this possible, you need to start thinking about edge AI hubs. Again, the first concept of get your data and the user as close as where the operation is happening. So that we feel will definitely evolve from a secure AI edge, where we would build use cases right at the edge so that people who are building agriculture use cases can consume right there and gain intelligence on top of that. Think about rural healthcare. We spoke about operations, but the basic healthcare, you cannot wait with the latency. We cannot have latency during robotics. We cannot have latency during operations. Now, all of this will start hitting us when we move to physical AI world. Now, this is possible only if we start thinking about edge AI hubs. To sum it up, top 3 strategies that I think India should evolve is secure and sovereign AI. Second is about making more and more interoperable models from a data set perspective. And third, building scalable data center and a data fabric where we could train the models at the central hubs and then inference them or use them at the edge in a secure and safe fashion. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. And again, I'm looking at the clock, so I'm going to ask each one of you to just say one word. You think of AI, what AI that excites you and scares you. I'll start with you, Balaji. Yeah.
One word is very, very tough to do, but I'll try and say it. Super excited about this. That's not one word, but that pretty much captures it.
Yeah, what am I excited with is AI. What am I not excited with is AI without HI, which is human intelligence.
So AI excitement is augmented intelligence, which is actually augmenting human intelligence, and disturbing, it is being used as alternative intelligence.
Artificial intelligence in nature.
Okay. For me, excitement is the potential of AI and what it can do today and future. The challenge which I feel is, are we leaving behind a section of Indians, 200 million people not connected with a device which can even get a data connectivity? So that's my big worry.
I'll build onto that to say that I'm actually excited about how we can channel the demographic dividend that we have. We are a young country. If we play our cards right, we are going to be the talent hub for the future if we play our cards right. And what I'm scared about, or what I'm uncomfortable about, is the fact that supply chains, when it comes to AI, they are very, very concentrated in some geographies, which means we can't really be truly resilient till such time we find our mark in the global value chain.
I think what I'm excited about is India moving from AI consumer to AI producer. We will truly become the AI garage. And what I'm not very excited about is not enough the thought around guardrails that we are putting across to consume safe AI.
Thank you very much. And you all agree, it was a fascinating conversation. Thank you everybody for your thoughts today.
Thank you to our moderator, Mr. Krishnan, and to all our panelists for such an insightful and a thought-provoking discussion. Your perspectives truly highlight how collaboration between government and industry will be key to building a robust AI ecosystem. As a token of appreciation, may I please request Mr. Amrit Jeevan, President Made, to hand over the memento to Mr. Harish Krishnan. May we please have a round of applause? Mr. Ranganath Sadasiva. Mr. Kishore Balaji. Miss Vibha Mehra. Mr. Sumit Monga.
one of the most
Session as well of what AI would do
to biomanufacturing point of view. I think what I've tried to do is actually I've tried to put my thoughts together through a cartoon that I recently came across in one of the online sessions. It's actually funny, but it's also deeply insightful actually. You can see a scientist who is wanting to do genetic optimization is asking a question from an AI model. How can I do genetic optimization? And obviously, it says certainly I have scheduled the leaves for a meditation session, deleted all unnecessary stress pathways and recommended